Hello everybody, my name's Liz, I'm the baker that sews. Welcome to my channel if you're new and welcome back if you are a subscriber. It's really lovely to have you here today. So today's video is going to be me sharing what I made in the month of October. Now October did include half term, so I did get a little bit more sewing done than I would in a regular month because I had a week off work. And I did immerse myself in lots of sewing. I think it was really important for my mental health and well-being to have some time where I completely switched off from school and just really enjoyed my hobby of sewing. So that's exactly what I did. Before I start, I'll let you know what I'm wearing. This is actually something that I sewed up in the month of October. So it is something that I was going to talk to you about today. And it is the Sagebrush top by Friday Pattern Companies. Now I'll go into more detail about the pattern in a second because I've got a second one to share with you, but I'll stand up so you can see what it looks like. And I've just got it on with a pair of black jeggings today. So it's got the ruffle across here, it's got these huge voluminous sleeves which aren't quite as puffy because this is a viscose fabric. It's lovely and drapey, and then it's got the tie detail at the back. And then you finish the neckline with bias binding in the same fabric. And I just absolutely love this fabric and I absolutely love this pattern. It's a really lovely pattern to sew up. It's quite straightforward to follow. There's some really nice details to it, like the ruffle that you insert. And I really love finishing the neckline in this way with the tie detail at the back. I will go into more detail, like I said, about the pattern a little bit later when I share the other Sagebrush top, but that is what I'm wearing today. So as I said, I did manage to get quite a lot of things sewn up in October, which was great. And a lot of the things that I sewed up were separates because I've been thinking a lot about my wardrobe and layering up, particularly for the cold weather. Because I'm an early years teacher, so I spend a lot of my day in the garden with the children. And although I am running around and things, it does get very cold out there because we're out there for, you know, over an hour. So I do like to make sure that I've got a few layers on underneath just to keep myself snuggly and warm so I'm not going to freeze. The children don't seem to feel the cold, but I definitely feel the cold and I don't like being cold at all. Before I get into what I've been making, I thought I'd share a couple of really cute things that have happened at school recently. So I teach in the early years, the children are 4 and 5, and there's a couple of cute things that have happened this week which have just made my day. I've been really trying to find the joy in every day. It's quite intense at school, as it would be anyway. So I've really been trying to find the little joyful moments. And I was teaching a maths lesson the other day and I had some things covered up by a blanket. And I said to the children, close your eyes, I'm going to do some magic. Close your eyes and I want you to say abracadabra. And when you've said abracadabra, you're going to help me magic lots and lots of things in front of us. So I got them to close their eyes and I whipped the blanket off and they all said abracadabra. And when they opened their eyes, there was loads of toys that had obviously been hidden under my blanket. But the children genuinely thought that I was magic and they were magic. And their reaction was just so cute. And then the other thing that my class insist on doing this year is they insist on answering the register in the afternoon by saying I love you, which is just the cutest thing ever. It takes forever because there's 30 of them all saying I love you, but it is just so, it's such a lovely way to start my afternoon. So I thought I would just share those two little nuggets of lovely things that have happened at school. Anyway, on to what I got made up. So I've already shared this. This is the Friday Pattern Company Sagebrush top. So I'll just show you the pattern. So onto the Sagebrush top. Here it is. Very battered because I've made quite a few of these. But it's got this lovely ruffle and then the puffy sleeves and then they're gathered into an elastic channel. So I'll show you the line drawings as well and then I'll go through the sizes. Here we go. So we've got this one, this is the front with the ruffle and then the front of the top is sort of slightly gathered. You probably can't see because of how busy this is, but it's gathered into this bit here. It's a really interesting construction because you've got the front yoke and then you've got the back yoke piece as well. And then you've got this ruffle that you sort of attach in between the front yoke and then the main part of the top. It's a really lovely sew. It comes together really nicely. The only fiddly bit is the bias binding around the neckline, but I really enjoy finishing a neckline in that way. I find it quite satisfying and it's quite a slow step because you want to make sure that you get it nice and neat. So the Sagebrush Sizes starts as an extra small, which is a bust 32 to 33 inches, waist 24 to 25 inches, and then hips 34 to 35 inches. And then the larger size is a 7X, which goes up to 59 to 60 inch bust, 52 to 53 inch waist, and 62 to 63 inch hips. So quite a wide range of sizes, which is great. What I really like as well is you get the finished garment measurements as well. And then it also lets you know how much fabric you need. Now, I have managed to squeeze the Sagebrush top out just over a metre. I think I had just over a metre of this fabric, so like 1.1 metres or something. And I have managed to squeeze it out of that. And the way that I did that was cutting the ruffle as 2 separate pieces. You're meant to cut it on the fold, but I cut it as 2 separate pieces. And because this fabric is quite busy, I'll stand up so you can see, there is a line there. You can't even see it, where I've attached the ruffle where it should have been on the fold. But that just meant that I could get it out of 1.1 metres. I also shortened the top. It's still got a really deep hem, but I've shortened it, so it should have been sort of about here. And I took about 2 inches off because I like the top hanging out of my trousers. But it's still long enough, like this is the top of my trousers. It's still long enough for me to tuck it in if I wanted to and sort of have that blousey effect, but I've just got it out today. I just find it a lot more comfortable. So recommended fabric for the Sagebrush top. It's designed for woven fabrics, so cotton voile, rayon challis, linen that isn't too heavy, silk, cotton shirting. It is designed for sort of drapey fabric, but if you want the shoulders, if you want the sleeves to be more defined, then a more structured fabric would give you that look. So I have made it in a cotton lawn, and it does make the shoulders stand out a lot more than it does with the viscose. The viscose is definitely a lot more drapey, and it's got a lot more movement, and it's, you know, quite flowy. I absolutely adore the Sagebrush top. So this is the first version that I've made. And the second one that I made is in this beautiful gingham fabric. So I'll just hold it up so you can see. Again, it's got the bias binding finishing the neckline. It's got this beautiful ruffle. It's got lovely poofy sleeves, which is great. And then it ties at the back. You've got this lovely tie detail, which I absolutely adore. And then you can just see that you've got the yoke pattern on the back, and then you've got the yoke pattern on the front. Similar length. This fabric I got as a remnant from the rag shop, and it's beautiful. I'm going to stop the video and I'll pop this one on just so you can see what it looks like on, because I'm not sure if I have got a photo of me wearing it. Okay, so I'm back wearing the gingham version. I'll just stand up so you can see. So this one you can see my black trousers underneath because it is slightly see-through. So this one I would tend to tuck in like that, so you can't actually see it at the bottom. And this is a cotton fabric. It's a seersucker, so the sleeves are a little bit more structured, and then you've got this lovely ruffle again. And again, because I only had a small amount, I cut it on the fold. I cut the ruffle not on the fold, so that I have got a seam line there, but because the ruffle is gathered into the top, you can't really see that seam line, so I don't think it matters. And then you've got the tie detail at the back. So yeah, fan favourite in my collection of tops. I've enjoyed wearing this to work, and then just chucking a cardigan on the top. It's been great. It's just paired with trousers that I've got, and I've also got some culottes that I've paired it with too. So I would definitely recommend making the Sagebrush top. Another thing to say actually is it's quite straightforward to take out some volume of the sleeves. So if you don't want them as big and voluminous, it's quite straightforward to just take a little bit out of the middle. I don't know if I've done it correctly, but it's certainly worked on some tops that I've made, where I've just folded the sleeve pattern piece in on itself for about 1 inch, and I've just taken some of that volume out of here. And it's worked perfectly, especially if I've used more structured fabric and I don't want to have that big poofiness. I think I made one of these out of a, what's it called? A broderie anglaise fabric, which was really structured. So I knew I didn't want big poofy sleeves. So I took a tiny bit out of the volume of the sleeve head, and that worked really nicely. So 2 of those, which I can see me getting lots and lots of wear out of them. It's a really pretty top and a nice addition to my work wardrobe, but also to my weekend wardrobe. So I'm going to move on to the next thing that I got sewn up. And the next thing I got sewn up was something for my girls. I managed to sew them both a dress each. So let me just get the pattern details. I was invited by Coffee and Thread, a pattern company who do women's patterns and children's patterns, to join in with a pattern hop over on Instagram. I was allowed to choose a pattern for free and then make it up and just provide a photograph of that pattern made up. and I chose something for my girls because I really want to start making more for them, especially because they're getting a bit older, so they're not growing quite so quickly. So I know that they'll be able to get a bit more wear out of the garments that I make for them. And I chose the Antalya Dress. Now, I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly, but that's the name of it, just in case I'm saying it incorrectly. It's a really lovely, interesting little dress. It's quite loose fitting, which I really liked for them because I like them to be able to move. Ruby, who is autistic, can be quite particular about what she wears. She doesn't like things too restrictive. So this dress was perfect for her because it has got wiggle room in it. It's also got panels, and I'll show you the line drawings in a minute. So you can play around with the fabric if you wanted to. Now I chose just to use the same fabric for both of their dresses. So these are the line drawings. Here we go. So you've got these side panels and they gather into the skirt at the front, and then at the back, this is the back here and here, you've got a separate skirt piece that you attach, and that is gathered as well, and it's a really cute detail. Now there's two options to finish the Antalya dress. You can either insert an exposed zip, or you can do buttons, and then there's a pattern piece to do button loops. Now I chose to finish both dresses in a completely different way. Those are really lovely ways to finish, but I had some snaps that I wanted to try out. And then I also copied the design of the Sagebrush top for Ruby's, just because I know around her neckline she can be a bit funny about it being quite restrictive. So I wanted to have that option to have it a little bit looser for her. So I chose to finish the neckline with bias binding, and I'll show you that in a second. Now the Antalya dress comes in sizes. So it starts at 12 to 18 months, and then it goes up to an age 12, which is a great size range for a children's pattern. I do still find it quite frustrating that children's patterns stop at the age of 12. I appreciate and get why, because once you've got a child that's above the age of 12, their body shape is changing. And I'm still on the lookout for some patterns, particularly for Ruby. She's quite tall for her age. So the age 12 dress that I made for her, she's probably not going to get as much wear out of it as Lola, but at least then Lola can wear her dress. And the girls both absolutely loved being able to go through my fabric stash and choose some fabrics for their dresses. So in terms of fabric requirements, because I made an age 10 and an age 12 based on their measurements, it recommended if it's 150 centimetres in width fabric, then you just need just under 1.5 metres, so 1.4 metres. I managed to get it out of, I think, probably about 1.4 metres actually. I think the requirement suggestions of fabric is pretty accurate. Now another thing to say, I don't know if you can see because it's not colour, is you can add piping. So along this detail here, you can add piping. Now I chose not to because it was the first time I was making the dress up, so I just wanted to make it up and see how it went. But next time I make it for Rubes and Lola, I think I might have a try at adding some piping because that's a new skill for me. So I'll show you the dresses that I made for them. So this one was fabric that Lola chose, and this is fabric that I got from Like So Amazing ages and ages ago. It's a cotton poplin, and it's got all these really fun flamingos all over it. So yeah, this is her dress. So you can't really see the panels really unless you look up close, and then you can see. And then you've got the lovely gathering that goes into the side here, and then the side here, and then you've got the gathered skirt at the back. And then I chose to finish the back with poppers. So these green poppers that we've got. And then the pattern's also got a grown on sleeve, so you don't insert any sleeves, which makes it a lot easier for construction. So that one's Lola's, and I'll put pictures in of her wearing it. And then Ruby chose this tropical fruity fabric, again, that I had in my stash for ages. And I think I got this from a D stash absolutely ages ago. And it's got all these pineapples, and I think they're watermelons all over it. So again, same detail, grown on sleeve. You've got the panel down here with the gathering, and then at the back you've got the gathered skirt. And then with hers, I chose to cut out some bias binding using the same fabric, and I finished the neckline with the bias binding, and then she's got this tie detail at the back, so it's really cute. And again, I'll insert pictures of Ruby wearing it, but they both absolutely loved wearing their dresses. And the weather has obviously got a bit colder because this does look more like a summer pattern. They just paired it with chunky tights and boots and a jumper or a cardigan over the top of it, and they were absolutely fine. and lovely and warm. And actually they could put a long sleeve top underneath because it's got the grown on sleeve and quite a high neckline. I think with a long sleeve top underneath would look just as lovely as well. So I'm really pleased that I managed to get something sewn up for Ruby and Lola, and it's something that, because they chose the fabric themselves, I know that they're going to get lots and lots of wear out of. So that was really lovely. So thank you to Coffee and Thread. I'll mark that as an ad, and I'll mark it down as an ad in the comments below as well. And over on Instagram, when I shared their dresses, I did mark it as an ad because it was given to me with the requirement of me providing a photo of the finished garment. So thank you for that. They've got so many patterns over on their website, so do go and check them out if you haven't seen them. They're called Coffee and Thread. So on to the next thing that I'm going to share. So whilst I'm wearing pink, I might as well put my pink Coatigan on to share with you. I bought some beautiful boucle fabric from Sew Me Sunshine, and it's this gorgeous pink, rose pink fabric. It's absolutely beautiful. And I really wanted to turn it into a Coatigan. Again, because I get really cold at work, I just wanted something to throw on that was like basically wearing a blanket at work. So I turned it into a Coatigan. Now I did have the Coatigan pattern from Sew Over It, but when I was searching over on Instagram for boucle fabric and also Coatigans, this pattern cropped up and I saw some absolutely beautiful versions. So I decided to go with this pattern, and this is called this is called the Bianca Coatigan, and it's by Sew Me Something Patterns. Now they're a new pattern company to me. I hadn't heard of them before. So it's quite a straightforward loose fit Coatigan. It's got dropped shoulder line to add ease and comfort, and the sleeves can turn back, so you can turn the sleeves up for a casual feel. It's got a square edge shawl collar which drapes into this beautiful waterfall front, or it can be wrapped over to create like a double-breasted look. Now I've just got it open and I haven't wrapped it. I probably have got a bit of the fabric left. I've probably got enough of the fabric left to make a belt if I wanted to, but at the moment I've just got it open. So these are the line drawings. So here's the front and here's the back, and then you've got these patch pockets that you add. It comes in 4 size ranges, so extra small, small, medium and large. And the measurements for those size ranges are, for extra small, it's a bust 31 to 35 inches, waist 26 to 29 inches, and hips 35 to 38 inches. So I went for a small just because I wanted to make sure I had a lot of room there, because if I was wearing like a jumper underneath, I wanted to make sure I could still get it on and not feel too restricted. And the small measurements are 35 to 38 inch bust, 29 to 33 inch bust, and 38 to 42 inch bust. And then the largest size is large, which is 42 to 45 inch bust, 36 to 40 inch waist. And then the largest size measurement is a 42 to 45 inch bust, 36 to 40 inch waist, and 45 to 49 inch hips. Fabric recommendation is 2.5 meters. Now I got it out of 2 meters. The fabric that I did buy from Sew Me Sunshine was quite wide, but I definitely got it out of 2 meters and I had a bit left over. So I wouldn't worry too much about making sure you've got 2.5 meters. And I made the size small. So I'll put it on so you can see what it looks like. And then there's just one thing that I wanted to talk to you about it. I really enjoyed the process of making it. If I show you the instruction booklet, so again, we've got the line drawings. The instruction booklet, there's not a huge amount of instructions in there. There's only 4 pattern pieces. There's not a huge number of instructions. It suggests the cutting layout for you. And then the instructions up to how many? So 12, only 12 instructions. They're quite straightforward, but they are quite basic instructions too. I like that there are drawings because I'm quite a visual learner, so I do like having those to help and support. And in terms of the how difficult it is, it's a beginner plus. So I would definitely say, because of the fabric that it recommends you use, which I'll talk about in a second, I would definitely say it is not suitable for somebody that's a beginner, but a beginner plus. So if you've sewn a couple of other things, then you could definitely give this a go. Suitable fabrics, fabrics that don't have a definite wrong side. Now, the boucle that I chose does have a definite wrong side, in the sense that this is like the boucle bobbly bit, and then the other side is quite smooth, but it's still the same colour, so I still chose to go with this fabric. Boiled wool, wool coating, heavy double jersey, scuba jersey and woolly fleece are recommended. This is a boucle, and I would definitely, with a bit of stretch, and I would definitely say that's suitable for the Coatigan as well. So I'm going to pop it on so you can see what it looks like. And I have enjoyed wearing this out. It's been so lovely and warm, and it's definitely like a blanket. The thing to say is you don't finish the edges by hemming, like you don't hem the sleeves, and it doesn't recommend that you hem the bottom either. What it recommends in the booklet is that you overlock the edges, or if you're certain that it's a fabric that's not going to fray, then you can just leave it as a raw edge. So I chose to overlock it in a pink overlocking thread that I had that matched the colour of the fabric, which is great, and it, you know, it's a lovely finish. There's only one downside to this pattern, and it's the way that you attach this like collar detail, because of the so I chose to overlock on the inside as well, just because I was worried about this, like the boucle fluff getting everywhere, so I did want to finish the seams. This is the Coatigan, so it's got this lovely waterfall detail at the front, all the way down here, and then I've got the patch pockets here, which is great. And then on the round on the back, where you've got this lovely collar detail, you'll be able to see I've got this line here where you attach it. And I'm not too keen on the way that that looks. I'm going to take it off again so I can show you what I mean. I'm not too keen on the way that that looks. I'm just going to bring it closer to you. I feel like it looks a bit messy because I've got that overlocking seam. Now, my hair's not particularly long, so it's not even like it's going to cover it. So that's the only little niggle that I've got on the back where you've got that exposed. You can see this bit. So I might unpick it and maybe finish it with some nice bias tape or something, just so that then it's a design feature. That's the only niggle that I've got with this pattern, the way that that looks. Now I did try it with that tucked in like this. So I'll pop it back on so you can see, but then it impacts on the waterfall detail that you have. So then you lose that lovely waterfall detail. So then I have to sort of try and pull it out a little bit. And then it changes the way that the coat looks at the front because I've tucked that in. But then it means you don't have that seam being visible on the back. So I'm gonna have to play around with it a little bit. I'm gonna take it off because it's so warm in my house today. So I don't want to keep that on. But I absolutely adore it. It's exactly what I wanted. I feel like I've just got a snuggly blanket on, and that's amazing and really, really lovely and cozy. It's just that detail at the back, and I think maybe it's just an error on my part because I chose to overlock that section. So yeah, I'm just going to have a little think about how that finishes, because that's the only thing that I'm not too keen on. The way that the coat edges are finished with the overlocker, I think that looks absolutely fine, because you can't really tell, because I've used a overlocking thread that matches the colour of the fabric. You can't tell, so it does give it a nice neat finish. It's just that section at the back, so I'm going to have to play around with that. And if anyone's got any top tips or suggestions of what I could do to change that seam line, let me know in the comments below. But I would definitely recommend making the Bianca Coatigan. And actually I shared some fabric in my latest fabric haul which would be perfect for the Coatigan. I'm quite keen to turn them into clots, but yeah, I'm sort of toying with whether that fabric would be better suited to make another Coatigan, or whether I should stick with making some culottes. So that was another successful make in October. On to, where should I go next? Let's go on to a couple of basic tops that I've made. So in my October half-term sewing plans, I talked about needing some just layering pieces. So again, for when I'm at work, jumpers or jersey tops that I can put underneath something like this. So this would work with a long sleeve jersey top underneath, just as an extra layer to keep me nice and cozy and warm. I've reached for one of my favourite jumper patterns as a layering piece, and it's from Tilly and the Buttons stretch book, which I absolutely adore, and I've used this book so much. So I went for the Freya. I chose to go with the Freya Sweater and Dress pattern. So it's a close fitting sweater, or you could turn it into an A-line dress. And this is the pattern here, and I'll show you the line drawings just on the other page. There we go. So I went for this version here with the long sleeves, the mock neck band at the top. It's quite fitting, and then it comes out. Now, I didn't want it to be super fitting, so I sized up for this, and I went for a size 4, which is a bust measurement 36 inch, waist 30 inch, and hips 39 inch. Now, my hips are a 35 or 36 inch, so that was a much bigger size than I actually needed to make, but I didn't want it to be super snuggly and close fitting, because I don't like things feeling really restricted. So I chose to size up, and I made 2 of them. One using this, well, they're both fabrics from Sew Hayley Sunshine, so using this green, sage green fabric, and that's a viscose jersey, so it's quite drapey. And then the second one was using this pink cotton jersey, again from Sew Hayley Sunshine, which is an unusual colour for me, saying that I am wearing pink now. A lot of my makes this month have been pink, and I think that's because I'm really keen to still inject lots of colour into my wardrobe despite the weather getting colder and we've had a lot of rain. I love wearing colourful things. It really makes me smile and feel really happy when I pop on bright colours. So there's this one as well. I'll insert pictures of me wearing both of them. This one, what did I pair this with? Oh, some Sew Over Ultimate culottes that I've got. And then this one I paired with my Jennifer Lauren Bastien culottes, which are in a Mind the Maker pink and green viscose twill. So I absolutely love that one too. Freya Sweater is a really simple pattern to put together. I sewed it all on the overlocker. Now, the only thing to say about these, I absolutely love them, but I have been a bit cheeky and I haven't finished them properly. I've still worn them. I didn't hem the sleeves, and I haven't hemmed the bottom of either of them, and I don't think I'm going to, because I'm going to wear these as base layers. They'll probably end up being covered up with another top like this or another jumper, and they'll definitely always be tucked into something, so I'm not going to hem them. I know that's a little bit lazy, but I'm not going to hem them, and that's why I could sew them on the overlocker completely. I didn't need to then jump onto my machine to hem them or anything, and I am just going to keep them like that. But I absolutely love them. They've been fantastic to wear, and they've been really great base layers, and they've kept me really cozy and warm already. And I definitely am going to make some more of those, and I think I'll definitely size up again because I like that sort of looser feel with the top. Yeah, and I've got so much wear out of all of the things that I've made in this book too. On to another of Tilly's books. I then wanted to make another sort of layering piece, which was going to act more as a vest. So it probably won't ever be seen by anybody, but I'll know it's underneath my garment. The Tabitha T-Shirt pattern from Tilly and the Buttons Make It Simple book. So I'll just find the pattern for you. And I've made this up so many times already. So here it is, Tabitha T-Shirt. I'll find the line drawings for you. Here we go. So we've got this basic t-shirt with the short sleeves, or you can have the 3/4 sleeves, or you can have the long sleeves. I only had a remnant piece of this fabric from Material Girl Laura, and it's this beautiful, I think it's called a Pontel fabric with cherries all over it, and it's got all these tiny little dots. And I've just seen on Fabric Godmother that she's got loads of this type of fabric in, and it is meant to act as a thermal fabric, so it's meant to keep you nice and warm. The sun is shining right in on this fabric, so I'm not able to bring it any closer because the light just makes it go all bright and impossible to see. But it's got all these really cute little cherries on. I'm going to try and bring it forward again. There we go. It's got all these gorgeous cute little cherries on. I got a remnant piece from Material Girl Laura, and I've just turned it into this beautiful vest. Again, like the Freya tops, this is going to be a layering piece. It's not going to be seen by anybody. So I didn't hem the cuffs. I didn't hem the sleeves. I've just left it. And I didn't hem the bottom either. I've just left it as well. And I think this is going to be great just putting underneath one of my Southbanks. Yeah. I don't think it would work going under something like this because this is quite see-through already, and you would be able to see the cherries through it, but definitely underneath a Southbank jumper or a toaster sweater, I think this would work perfectly as just a thermal vest. So I'm really pleased that I managed to get that sewn up. Now, the Tabitha T-shirt can be turned into a dress as well from this book, and there's instructions in there how to do that, and there's pattern pieces to help you do that. It comes in sizes UK 6 up to a UK 24, and I made a UK 8, which is the 32-inch bust, 26-inch waist and 35-inch hips. So my waist and hips fit into that measurement, but my bust is 34-inch. So looking at the bust measurement, I should have gone with a 10, but actually it's quite roomy on me. And because I'm using it as a layering piece, it didn't matter that it was slightly more fitted than perhaps the dress, or you know, if I was making the t-shirt to be worn and seen by people. So I went with the size 8, and the finished garment measurements for the size 8 is 33.5 inch bust, 33.5 inch waist, 33.5 inch hips. And it's, you know, it's got plenty of room in it for me, so actually I'm really pleased that I went with the size 8. I'll just show you what the dress looks like. So here's Sam from Purple Sewing Cloud, and you add this skirt piece on to the t-shirt, and then you insert, and then the way that you attach the top and the skirt is you then create this waist channel, and then you put some elastic through there or a drawstring through there to pull it in if you wanted to. It's a really beautiful dress. I'll show you the line drawings as well if you were tempted, and I've made lots of versions of the dress too. So again, another layering piece, which is going to be really handy in my autumn winter wardrobe. Okay, then onto something, I'm not sure if I've shared this or not, so apologies if I've already shared it, but onto a skirt that I had cut out ages and ages and ages ago, and it is the Selkie London skirt, top and dress pattern. And I went for the skirt version, and I had this beautiful border print rifle paper fabric, and I cut this out well over a year ago. And then when I went to sew it up, the waistband was far too short. Now I thought I'd done something drastically wrong, or my body shape had changed hugely from sort of a year ago, but really it hasn't. So when I went to attach the waistband and try the skirt on, the waistband was far too small. By a good 3 inches, I could not get the waistband fastened up at all. And I only basted it on to check the fit. I was really sad because I used every scrap of this beautiful rifle paper border print to get the waistband cut out and to get the skirt cut out. So I didn't have any of the fabric left. So I asked on my channel for suggestions, and loads of you suggested that I just used a darker fabric or a similar fabric for the inside of the waistband, and then use the inside waistband that I'd already cut out in the same fabric, just to extend the waistband, and that's exactly what I did. So I managed to get it finished. So I used the same fabric for the outer waistband, and then the inside waistband was just a black fabric. I'll just fasten the zip up, and I think I will pop this skirt on in a second just to show you. But yeah, I managed to get it finished, which is great. There we go. And then this, I think, will go perfectly with my Freya top that I got finished, because it will bring out the pops of pink. And then I've got some beautiful shoes that I love wearing with it. So I will insert a picture of the skirt, but I'm going to stop the video and I'm going to pop this on just so you can see what it looks like. Okay, so I've got my Freya top on, and again, it's not a colour that I would normally go for, but actually I quite like it. And then I've popped the Selkie skirt on too. So it's got this lovely detail. I don't know if you can tell, but the hem is slightly dipped at the front. Not the hem, the waistband is slightly dipped at the front, and then you've got these pleats at the front as well, which add a really nice feature. I'm just going to stand up so you can see what the skirt looks like. Then I've got the beautiful border print that's there, and then it goes all the way around to the back, and then this is what the back, oh, I've come undone, that's what the back looks like. So you've got the invisible zip, and then it's just got a little hook and fasten there. So it's a really pretty skirt. I'm not a massive fan of wearing skirts, but I have worn it to work a few times, and I just love it. I love the detail on this fabric. It's so pretty. Now, just to say, I'm not the only one that struggled with the waistband on this pattern. I know that Joy from Pink Coat Club found the same issue when she was creating the skirt. She found that the waistband was too small, and I know that Mel from Stitch, Make and Bake also found the same issue with the waistband. So if you are going to make the pattern, I'd just be really wary of the waistband, and just check against yourself that when you are cutting it out, the measurements actually add up. Because it was a bit of a fiddly way to finish my skirt, if I'm honest, because I had to piece the waistband together. I'll get changed and I'll show you what the waistband looks like at the back, because I'm not 100% happy with the way that it's finished, but I am glad that I've now got a wearable skirt, whereas before I just wouldn't have been able to wear it because it didn't have the waistband on. So I'll just get changed again. I'm going to get changed into the next thing that I'm going to share with you, because it's the Southbank sweater, so I do need to pop that on. So I'll be back in a second. I'll have a different top on, but I will just share with you what I had to do with the waistband on the Selkie dress, Selkie skirt. Okay, I am back. So I wanted to share with you and show you what I ended up doing with the waistband on the Selkie Just realised my hair's a mess now from taking all the tops and things off. Yeah, so what I had to do in the end was I used a different fabric on the inside, but then on the waistband on the back I had to just piece it together. I don't know if you can see. I mean, you'd have to be looking at me really closely to notice that I've had to do this with the waistband. This is me being a sewist, being super picky. But yeah, I had to add an extra bit on this piece and an extra bit on this piece just to get it to add up. So I ended up adding about 3 inches of extra fabric, which shows how short the waistband was when I'd cut it out. And I definitely cut out the right size. I cut out the right size for my measurements too. So it was reassuring actually to find out I'm not the only one that had that problem with the waistband piece. So just a word of warning if you're going to be making the skirt, because it's a beautiful pattern. It was just a little bit frustrating not having the waistband pattern piece the correct size for the size that I cut the skirt out of. Otherwise, really lovely pattern. I haven't made the dress version yet, but I'm definitely going to. It comes in sizes UK 6 to 20. So the size measurements for a 6, 81.5 centimetres for bust, 61.5 centimetres for waist, 88.5 centimetres for hip. And then a size 20, it's 118 centimetres for bust, 97 centimetres for waist, and 125 centimetres for hip. It can be made into a dress, blouse and skirt. It's got raglan sleeves, a knee-length skirt, loose bodice pleats, shaping around the waist, and a shaped waistband for the skirt. You can choose to leave the darts unstitched or stitch them for a more fitted look. And then the blouse has got playful gathers around the waist and makes a versatile feminine wardrobe staple. So yeah, these are the 3 different variations. So you've got the blouse, the dress, and then the skirt. And then the skirt has got this dipped waistband, which is a really cute feature as well. So I will make it again, but I've just made a note to add extra length to the waistband when I'm cutting it out. So the next thing that I made 2 of these, and this is the Nina Lee Southbank Sweater. It's a firm favourite pattern of mine. I've made loads of them. It's really cosy and I absolutely love it. I don't have the pattern in my hand, but I'll insert pictures of what it looks like. It comes in 3 different options. You can do a cropped sweater, you can do a sweater dress, and then you can do the sweater top that I went for, although I made a variation to it. I used this fabric that I got from the Dab Hand ages and ages and ages ago, which is this rainbow knit, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. I just love it. It is a little bit creased, so apologies, I'm not ironing it because I'm not planning to wear it today. I've just popped it on for this video, and I've said this before, I really don't enjoy ironing unless I absolutely have to, or it's a step in my sewing make. So I'll just stand up so you can see. Now the version that I've chosen is version 2, which is the longer version of the jumper, but what I've chosen to do is add the band at the bottom, just because that's a look that I really like. The cuffs, you've got the extra cuff detail here and here, and then you've got this collar piece as well, which is a really lovely feature because it makes it quite snuggly. I love this jumper because it's quite roomy. You can see there's quite a lot of room in it for me to move, and I made a size 8. I absolutely adore this pattern. I've made it loads. It's really snuggly without it being too restrictive, and I was really impressed with my pattern matching here on the sleeves and then on the side as well. So I've got another one to show you. I'll just take this one off and then I'll pop the other one on. Okay, I've popped my second one on. Again, a little bit creased. This is using some amazing fabric that I got from by Graziella Fabrics, and I'll link them down below. Just love this fabric. It really makes me smile, and I absolutely adore the red and the pink colourway together at the moment. I'm probably late to that party because I know everybody was loving this last year, but I'm really loving it this year. It's really making me smile in the autumn winter. When I popped this one on, I quickly checked the sizing for the Southbank sweater. So it comes in sizes 6 to 20, and I'll pop a link to Nina's shop as well so you can go and find out a bit more about the pattern. It suggests medium weight fabrics that have got a 20% stretch like a ponte or a sweatshirt fabric. But then in version 2, which is the version that I've got on, it recommends that you can use a lighter weight jersey, which has got a bit more drapes. It just gives a completely different look. Version 2, like I said, doesn't suggest that you add the band on the bottom, but it is just my preference. I prefer to have that band on the bottom. It just makes it look a bit more like a jumper. I didn't pattern match at the bottom because I only had a little bit of this fabric left. I also didn't pattern match on the sleeves because I didn't have enough fabric to ensure that it was all pattern matched. I only had a tiny bit of this fabric, and I really wanted to turn it into a jumper because I knew that I would get a lot more wear out of it. So I wore this the other day to work with my Ivy pinafore, Jennifer Lauren Ivy pinafore, and it was really snuggly jumper to wear underneath that, and it just looked lovely. My Ivy pinafore is just a black pinafore, so it goes with quite a lot of my makes. And then just some thick woolly tights, and then I treated myself to some new boots last weekend, so I wore some nice snuggly boots as well. So I absolutely adore the Southbank sweater. It's just a standard sweater. Like I said, it has got a bit more room in it, so you don't feel restricted. And it's got the long sleeves with the cuff, and then you can do the collar, and you can also add the band at the bottom. And I've also made the sweater dress version too, so I'll pop pictures in of what that looks like as well. And then if I have a look at my list, I'm using my lovely notebook that Lynn, my Swap Sew Share buddy, sent me as part of my parcel. I've been making lots and lots of notes in here about future vlogs, which is exciting. So I'm just going to check my list and make sure I've shared everything. I have got one more thing to talk to you about that I made, which was a bit of a sewing fail, but then I've got some dresses that I need to share with you too. So I'll move on to the dresses, and then I'll finish with the sewing fail, and then before I go, I've got some beautiful buttons to share with you. So the dresses probably come as no surprise that I have been making the same pattern on repeat, because I do this if I find a pattern that I absolutely love, I make it quite a few times, just to nail the fit, and also to get the techniques just in my long-term memory. And it is this pattern. It's the Tilly and the Buttons Lotta dress, which comes in different variations. So you can, the great thing about this pattern is you can either make it in woven fabrics or you can make it in knit fabrics, and it's quite unique to get a pattern that you can use those two types of fabric on the same pattern. And the only difference is how you finish the neckline. So if you use a jersey fabric, you insert a neckband piece, and if you make the woven, you've got facings that you attach. So if I show you the line drawings on the back, you have got the mid-length woven dress with bracelet length sleeves that you add on. And then they've all got this waist channel, which you put elastic through, and it just gathers it in. And that is the midi length skirt, but then you can also do a knee length skirt. You can also add patch pockets. You can choose to leave the bracelet sleeve off. And then this is what the back looks like. So it's quite plain on the back, and then you've got this gorgeous skirt. I have gone for, with all of my variations, I have gone for the midi length, no patch pockets, woven fabrics for all of them, and the short sleeves, so just the grown on sleeve. It's a brilliant pattern, really straightforward to follow. It recommends beginners, and I would definitely say it's a beginner pattern. The only fiddly bit really is threading the elastic through, and the facing, just making sure that you understitch it and then give it a really good press to make sure that the facing doesn't creep up. And I have made 1, 2, 3, 4 of this to share this month. I've also made another one which is a space themed one, and they have been on heavy rotation with my work wardrobe. I just absolutely love it. I love the midi length skirts, I think really suit me, and I just love how swishy they are as well. It's been comfortable for work because of the elastic channel here, and then because of the elastic channel you also get this blousey effect on top, which means it's nice and roomy up here too, because I do find I need a bit of room, particularly around my bust, because my bust measurement changes throughout the month. And then the same with my waist, because I've got IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, I do bloat throughout the day and I bloat throughout the month. So it's really important for me that I'm comfortable around my tummy area too. And the waist, elastic waist channel definitely is comfortable. So let's go with the first one that I've picked up, and it's using this gorgeous viscose crepe fabric that I got from Fabric Godmother. So I'm really all over the red and the pink at the moment. It's absolutely beautiful. This has got such a beautiful amount of drape. I'm just going to pop the facing in because it's popping out. It's got an absolutely beautiful amount of drape. Look at how that moves. I just absolutely adore it. This pattern comes in sizes UK 6 to UK 24, and a UK 6 bust measurement is 30 inch, waist measurement 24 inch, and hip measurement 33 inch. And then a UK 24 is a 48 inch bust, 42 inch waist, 51 inch hip. I opted to make a UK 10, which is a 34 inch bust, 28-inch waist and a 37-inch hip. I absolutely adore it. I think it's really lovely. That skirt is just beautiful. It's got such a lovely swishy movement, and I love anything that swishes. And then you've got that channel across the middle and the grown-on sleeve, which is lovely and comfortable, and it means that I can wear it with a cardigan if I want to, or my coatigan. And then I've just got the facing that it finishes with, which is lovely. So not much more to say about this apart from it just makes me smile when I wear it, and it's just lovely. So that's the first one, and that fabric has unfortunately sold out from Fabric Godmother because I got it ages ago and everybody absolutely loved it. It's been sat in my stash for ages because I've been too scared to use it because it's such a beautiful fabric. I didn't know what pattern to pair it with. Which leads me on to the next one that I made, and I talked about this in one of my plans videos. I was going to turn this fabric into the Lotta dress, and that's exactly what I did. And it's this beautiful fabric from Semi Sunshine. It's a viscose, I think it's a viscose crepe again, but it is quite see-through, so I do have to make sure I wear this with tights and a top underneath. This gorgeous green colourway. And it's got so much drape. Now, when I shared this in one of my recent videos, I talked about it being quite static and I had to buy a slip. So thank you to everybody for the suggestions of what to do. Somebody recommended as well that you can get an anti-static spray, which I am looking into. So thank you for that. Again, I just love the movement of the fabric and how drapey it is. It's just beautiful. And again, it's got the same features. I did exactly the same with all of these. It's got the elastic in the middle. I just went for the grown-on sleeve, which is lovely, and then the midi length skirt, which feels like it goes on forever. And I've got videos of me wearing this, as my daughter made me do like a catwalk as she filmed me wearing the dresses, so I'll put them in as I'm talking about the different ones. And then the next one, I chose to use two fabrics, and I did a colour block, and I think I'm going to do more colour blocks with the Lotta dress. So I had these two leopard print fabrics from Material Girl Laura. The first one was a yellow and then the second one was a blue, and I put them together to make a colour blocked Lotta dress, which I absolutely adore, and I think it works really well, colour blocked. So I'm just going to hold that up so you can see. I absolutely love it. So again, the grown-on sleeves, the waist channel, and then the lovely skirt. And I didn't have enough of the yellow to do a yellow facing, so I've ended up doing blue. But because I've understitched it and pressed it properly, you don't see the facing creeping up at all. I know you can see it there, but that's just because I'm holding it up. So that's lovely. Now, to say with this version, I didn't have enough of the yellow to cut. You're supposed to cut the back piece on the fold. But again, because this fabric is quite busy, I didn't cut it on the fold. I cut it as two separate pieces, but added in the seam allowance. And I don't think you can tell. You can't even see the seam line because the fabric's so busy. Here's the seam line. It's only when you point it out. And it didn't change the shape of it at all. And I think that's still absolutely fine. So that was the third one. And then the final one is using some fabric that I got from Semi Sunshine. It's got all these gorgeous leopards all over it. And I just absolutely love it. You can just see the leopards hiding in the jungle. And this was a viscose twill because it's a bit weightier. It's got a lot more swish to the fabric. And I've absolutely loved wearing this to work. Now, this fabric was originally destined to be the True Bias, what's it called? It's behind me. This fabric was destined to be the True Bias Shelby Romper, but in the end, I just didn't have enough of the fabric to turn it into the romper. So I decided to turn it into the Lotta dress because I knew that I'd get a lot of wear out of it. And this works really well with a long sleeve top underneath or a cardigan over the top, and then woolly tights in the winter. But I also can see myself wearing this in the spring and summer. Although it's a viscose twill, it's not super weighty, so I think it'll still work in the spring and summer when the weather gets back to being a bit warmer. So again, that's another beautiful dress, which I absolutely love. The Lotta dress is a massive favourite of mine. I really love it. It's quite straightforward to put together, which is great when the term has started and my capacity to sew more complicated things sort of declines because I'm so tired. So it's great to have something like this that is quite simple to sew, enjoyable to sew, and makes me feel good when I wear it. Fabric recommendations, light to medium weight drapey fabrics like a chambray, a viscose, rayon, tencel, double gauze, brushed cotton or crepe. The short sleeve version can also be made in a less drapey fabric like a linen or a cotton lawn and a seersucker. And then it says, more experience, try single knit, drapey jersey, stretch velvet or lightweight French terry. Now I think this would look amazing in a velvet. I just haven't found the right velvet fabric yet to make it up. But yeah, I absolutely love it. Fabric recommendations. So knee length version 2.5 meters and a midi length 2.8 meters. I've managed to get this out of 2 meters. And the way that I've managed to get it out of 2 meters is by cutting the back bodice piece not on the fold. And then I've had to, did I do it on this version? Yes, the same with the skirt. I cut the back skirt piece not on the fold either, but just made sure that I added in the seam allowance. And again, because the print's quite busy, you can't tell. And it didn't change the shape of the skirt or dress at all. I was really careful when I was stitching that up. So I would definitely recommend this pattern. I absolutely love it. Okay, on to the final thing that I wanted to share this month, and this is a bit of a sewing fail, unfortunately. I think it's really important. I share lots of things that I've made that I'm really pleased with, but I do think it's really important to share the other side, a bit like the Selkie skirt not really working out, but now I figured it out. This is a dress that I was really excited about making. It's a pattern that I've had in my stash for a while. I've seen so many beautiful versions over on Instagram, and I was feeling really inspired to make it. And I used the fabric that I got from this latest Sew Hayley Jane box. Now, I got originally like a milk chocolate kind of colourway of this fabric. And the lovely Claire, who is the Sewing Bear 27, I'll link her details down below, got in touch to say, would I like to swap? Because she got the khaki colourway, and it is much more up my street, this colourway of the fabric. So she got this colour, and I love green. Green's my favourite colour. So I was really excited to swap the fabric and get this colourway. And it came in the post with lots of other beautiful things. And Claire also sent me another piece of fabric, which was so kind. Actually, have I got the fabric here? Yeah. She sent me this, which again is khaki, which is beautiful with leopards all over it. And I'm going to give this a try at sewing this pattern to see if it was the fabric. But anyway, I chose to turn this into the Megan Nielsen Darling Ranges dress, which is this pattern. So it's quite a loose fitting dress. You can either do this one that's dartless and has no shaping to it here, or you can do this one which has got a gathered skirt. They've both got buttons down, and then this version has got elasticated cuffs for their sleeves, and this one hasn't. You just leave the sleeve as it is. It's described as a pattern that's for a medium, sort of intermediate sewer, I think, because the skill level is 3 out of 5. Now, I've been sewing for 3 years, and I've sewn things like denim jackets and coats and things, so I thought I'd be able to tackle this one no bother. The number of buttonholes didn't bother me because I'm quite used to using my machine now, and my Fab sewing machine is brilliant at buttonholes. It comes in sizes 0 to 20, so the 0 measurement is 32-inch bust, 24-inch waist and 34-inch hip. And I chose to go with a size 4 because those are my measurements currently. So a 34-inch bust, 26-inch waist and a 36-inch hip. So I measured myself, re-measured myself, cut the pattern pieces out, and then got to work sewing it up. Now I chose to go with view A. So this is view A, and view A is a shirt dress with waist darts, pockets and a gathered skirt. And you've got all these buttons going down the front. You've got this V neckline, and then you've got the elastic in the sleeve. And then on the back, you've got this lovely little tie detail, which helps to give some shaping. I have had all manner of problems with this dress. The fitting has been a bit of a head scratcher, if I'm honest. And when I hold it up, you'll also see the final mistake that I have made, which I am going to rectify. I'll give you a minute to see, well, not quite a minute, but I'll hold it up and see if you can work out what the issue is. So here is sleeve 1 and here is sleeve 2. Hopefully you've spotted by now what the problem is. I have indeed put the sleeve on inside out. So there's the overlocking thread. Now I wondered what colour thread to go for. And in the end I went for white because of the white dandelion type pattern. I didn't have green overlocking thread, but yeah, I've sewn it on the wrong way around, so I need to unpick that and re-stitch the sleeve. It's the second time that I've had to take the sleeves out and reinsert them, and the main reason for that is when I put this on, the neckline just came far too low. The shoulders were sitting too far forward, and it just looked awful. It was not a great look at all. It really didn't fit me properly on the bodice at all. The waist was in the wrong place, the darts were in the wrong place. Now, I should have learnt my lesson and toiled this, and I didn't. But I also do think that the fabric that I'm using, the double gauze, is just a fabric that I don't think suits me at all. I don't think it's a particularly great fabric for my body shape. It's quite a chunky fabric. This has got quite a bit of stretch in it as well, which I don't think has helped. And I did stay stitch the neckline to stop it from coming out of shape. But in the end, I had to do an adjustment to this seam line here. So it was sitting too far forward, so I had to do a shoulder adjustment to make sure that that seam line was moving backwards and was sat in the correct place. And in the end, I ended up taking about 2 inches off of both of the shoulders, and now it sits perfectly. It sits in the right place. But of course now I need to unpick the sleeve. So I have managed to work out the fit issues for the bodice. I've got the tie detail on the back, which is lovely, and that does bring it in at the waist. But it's still quite a chunky dress on me, and I just don't think it looks particularly, I just don't think it's a fabric that suits my body shape. I don't think it looks great on me, which is really sad. So I'm looking to see if I can cut this up and turn it into something for my girls, even if it's just some kind of t-shirt that I turn it into. But I had an awful lot of problems with fitting. I'm wondering whether it was the fabric, because the fabric's got a bit of stretch in it. I'm not 100% sure. I'd be really interested to know if you have had any fit problems with the Darling Ranges dress. The skirt was fine, sewed up no bother, the pockets went in absolutely fine. It's just that top, and it was definitely the shoulder detail, so I did have to take that out. So with the adjustment that I had to make, what I found was the neckline was sitting too low down. There was too much room in the shoulders, and also this neckline was really low down. So I needed to take out some room out of the shoulders here at the back, but then I also needed to take out some room for the shoulders at the front, which then raised the arm sink as well. So I had to just play around, and in the end I ended up taking about 3 inches off of the shoulder seam here, a couple out the front and then 1 inch out the back, and then it resolved all the problems. So it fits me a lot better on top. But I still am really unsure about double gauze fabric. And the reason why I'm erring towards the double gauze fabric just not suiting me is because I made a By Hand London Hannah wrap dress, which I absolutely adore the pattern. Again, I've seen so many beautiful versions. And I used double gauze to make that. And I just found across the waistline, it was really bulky, and it wasn't a particularly great look for me. It didn't suit me at all. I didn't feel comfortable wearing it, and I didn't feel like it was a dress that I would feel comfortable wearing out of the house either. So I do think it's double gauze fabric, and I don't think I'll be rushing out to buy double gauze fabric again. I'll stop now to put the dress on, but just to be aware, it is nowhere near finished. Like, I've got threads and things, because I just got to the point where I was so frustrated with it. Once I'd fitted the bodice and did the buttonholes, I didn't notice that I'd done the sleeve wrong until I put it on and went into the living room to show my husband, and he pointed out that my sleeve was inside out. And that just shows how frustrated I got with that dress. I didn't even notice that I'd put the sleeve on inside out. So I'll stop this video and I'll pop it on for you so you can see what it looks like. Okay, so I've got it on. I do still need to press this neckline here, but I'll stand up so you can see. So I'm much happier with where the shoulder seam line is sitting on here. I'm much happier with the neckline and the buttons all the way down. And then it has got pockets, which are here. And if I can stand back and show you, this is what it looks like on me. And then this is the back detail. Do excuse obviously the wrong sleeve, and then I also need to finish it with elastic. And I'll just stand up so you can see the length on me too. So yeah, there's my knees. So it's just at my knees at the moment, and I haven't hemmed it either because I just got to that point where I was so frustrated. I also don't know if it's the shape of the skirt. I'm not sure. Yeah, it'd be good to see what you think, and I'll see if I can get pictures so I can insert pictures so you can see what it looks like. And obviously it's not finished because I need to swap this sleeve over. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure about it. It's not something that I absolutely adore, and I'm not sure if I'm even going to wear it out of the house. It may get cut up and turned into something else, maybe something for my girls. I've just stood up again to show you. This is what it looks like. Yeah, I don't know why I'm just not in love with it. Maybe it's because I've had so many issues making it that I've just got to that point where I don't want to carry on making it. And I guess sometimes when you have a bit of bother making something, it then makes you not really want to wear it because you've had so many issues with it. I'm going to get changed because I don't feel comfortable wearing this at the moment because it's still something that's not finished and I'm not happy with it. So I'm just going to get changed and then I'll be back to finish the video. Okay, I do think it's really important to share things that haven't gone quite so well and why they haven't gone quite so well. I will still persevere with it and hopefully I will get the dress completely finished and to a point where I'm happy with it. Otherwise I will recycle it and turn it into something that I'm a bit more happy with. But yeah, I think me and double gauze have fallen out for now and I'm not sure it's a fabric that I'm going to be jumping for and reaching for, unfortunately. It'd be interesting to hear if you have made the Megan Nielsen Darling Ranges dress, because when I went on Instagram and had a look and did a Google for blog posts about the dress, everybody was glowing about it. There wasn't a single blog post that I could find where there was fitting issues. It's only when I shared over on Instagram that somebody got in touch with me and said that they were finding the same. So it'd be interesting to know if anyone else has had the same issues. And I do appreciate 100% that not all patterns are going to fit me like that. And I am really fortunate that some patterns I don't have to do any adjustments for, but then other patterns I do need to do a bit more work on making sure that it fits me correctly. And it's all part of the learning process, which is brilliant. So I've learned loads about adjusting the shoulder detail on the Darling Ranges dress. And I am going to try it with a different fabric. Like I've seen some beautiful ones using a chambray, so I might use a chambray or just a fabric that's a bit more stable and hasn't got that movement like a double gauze has. And plus I love like drapey fabrics, and double gauze is not drapey at all, so it might just be that might be why I'm not comfortable in the dress, because it hasn't got as much drape and swish as what I like in all of the clothes that I wear. Anyway, I'm going to finish on something really lovely. I ordered some buttons from Ethel & Joan, and I've ordered buttons from Ethel & Joan before. I absolutely love the quality of their buttons. I do have a bit of a thing for buttons. I shared in my fabric haul some buttons that I got from Pigeon Wish's shop, which are beautiful. These ones I just had to get because of the rainbow. They're just stunning. So here they are. They're 3 quite large buttons, and they've got this rainbow pattern on them. They're just beautiful. I'm just going to hold one up so you can see what they look like. Again, they're quite thick. They've got this lovely, the 2 holes in the middle, and I just think they're going to look absolutely gorgeous. I'm not quite sure what to put them on yet, but I'm sure the right project will jump out at me, but I couldn't resist getting those. And then I got some smaller ones, and they're beautiful. They remind me like of a goldfish, the colour of them. They're slightly smaller. And there are 8 on that one, and this one you only get 3. But Louise has got the most incredible range of buttons, so I'll link her shop down below if you haven't seen them. And they are always packaged beautifully. You get a few sweet treats in there, included with your buttons, and quite speedy service as well. So thank you so much, Ethel & Joan, for my beautiful buttons. They're going to go in my button collection. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed seeing what I got up to in the month of October. I am planning to do another video where I talk about my plans for November, but there won't be quite so many plans because this new term has started. We're in autumn 2 and we've got all the Christmassy things that start going quite early actually, to try and get the children to learn whatever it is that they need to learn. So not as many plans for November, but I am going to film a separate video all about that. If you've enjoyed this video, please do give it a thumbs up. And if you aren't a subscriber already, it'd be amazing if you would consider subscribing. I have gone over 3,000 subscribers now, which is incredible. So thank you to everybody for following my sewing journey. Take care. I hope whatever you're up to, you're having a lovely time, and I'll be back soon with another video. Bye.